What is going on, guys? My name is Juan, and welcome to today's video. So we're going to be taking a look at the Apertura 2021 Liga MX season, and then putting all the 18 teams into this tier list as to right around where I think that they'll finish. Now, I think the Liga MX wanted us to call this season the Grita Mexico 2021, but we're just going to call it Apertura 2021 just to make it easier on us. So here we go. We have 5 tiers. We have the teams I think will fight for the Liga MX title. We have the teams I think will make the Liga, the teams that will battle for repechaje, the teams that will just miss the mark, and then the teams that I think have no chance to even make repechaje. So in order to, I'll go over it quickly. So basically there's 18 teams in the league. The top 4 teams will automatically qualify to the Liga, which is like the quarterfinal stage of the Liga MX. And then the teams 5th through 12th, those are 8 teams. They'll battle in a thing called repechaje. It's just one game to see who the other 4 teams that will make up the Liga. And then from that, it's like 2 legs, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the final. And then whoever wins it is the champion. So with that, let's get started with Atletico San Luis. I'm going to put them no chance. Now, last season, they finished 17th. And I think they lost one of their main guys, Ibanez. I always see him always score goals for San Luis, even though they're pretty bad. So I'm gonna put them at no chance. As for Juarez, I'm thinking either repechaje or miss the mark, but I'm gonna put them miss the mark. Now they did get a new manager. They got Tuca Ferretti, who's been with Tigres for over a decade, and I think Tuca Ferretti's last season with Tigres was kind of bad. They finished in repechaje and then they got eliminated by Atlas, so not the greatest by him. As for Juarez, I think one of the players they signed is Hugo Gonzalez from I think he was in Monterrey or Necaxa, one of those 2 teams. And yeah, I don't know much about Juarez, but I'm gonna just put them miss the mark. As for Mazatlan, they actually finished 13th, so they were close to making repechaje, but they barely missed out. I'm still gonna put them miss the mark, because I don't think they have the squad to compete with the major teams. They're a new team in Liga MX. I think this is their second year. Their first year was last season, so let's see what they can do. But I'm gonna put them miss the mark. As for Necaxa, last season they finished dead last. But then the season before, I think they made repechaje or the Liga. So I'm going to put them also at miss the mark just because I don't think they have the strength. They got Mauro Quiroga back, who was their main goal scorer. I think he went to Pachuca, and then he completely flopped there. Not his fault, it's just he didn't get the game time, he didn't get into the rhythm. So he's back at Necaxa. I'm going to put them at miss the mark. They could actually battle repechaje, but I'm going to just put them there. As for Puebla, they were the surprise team last in the Clausura. They finished 3rd. Santi Ormeño was on fire for them, as were a bunch of other key players, which they have lost. Ormeño went to León. I think Salvador Reyes went to America, and then León got another one of their players. So I knew this would happen. Puebla, they're usually always in the bottom, but then they had some decent, good players, and then they battled for Titulo. They made it to the semifinals last season. I'm going to put them for battle for repechaje for now, and we'll see how that goes for the rest of the season. As for Querétaro, they will be the other team I will put as no chance. Querétaro always underperforming. They never do that great. Except when Ronaldinho was playing for them, they made it to the final, but then they lost to Santos, and then ever since then, they've not been that good. So I'm gonna put Querétaro on no chance. Last season, when they finished? They finished 12th last season, so they barely made repechaje, and then they got destroyed by Santos. So they never really had a chance to make Liga in the first place. So I'm gonna put them at no chance. Toluca, last season, they were actually pretty impressive. They finished, let me see, can't find them. They were 11th last season, and then they beat, they surprisingly beat León in the repechaje, and then they gave Cruz Azul a good run for their money. So they're actually pretty decent. I'm gonna put them at battling repechaje as well for now. And then Cristante, I think he's at his second stint with Toluca, doing pretty decent. As for Tijuana, where they finished last season? They finished 14th. I think I'll put them in repechaje places as well. Actually, I'll put them miss the mark. Yeah, I'll put them miss the mark. Last season, they didn't really do that hot. Finished 14th. I think they've made some signings, but they also lost some key players, so we'll see where that goes. As for Pumas, they had a really bad season last season. They finished, where'd they finish? They finished 15th. They didn't even make repechaje. Now, one of their main problems was they couldn't score goals. When I was like watching, it was like it was America versus Pumas on the last day of the season for like Pumas to make it repechaje. And then I was looking at them in the table, and I was like, they barely scored any goals. Obviously, because they lost Carlos Gonzalez the season before to Tigres, who was their main goal scorer. But if they can figure out a way to score goals, then they probably have a chance. But I'm gonna just put them repechaje for now. As for Atlas, they finished 7th last season, made it to the quarterfinals, and then they got eliminated by somebody. I don't remember who. I think it was Puebla. No, I don't remember. So obviously they're Chivas' rivals, and if you could tell, Chivas supporter. So I never want them to do well. But I'm gonna put them repechaje. I think they might lose Renato Ibarra, one of their players. So we'll put them in repechaje spots. As for Santos, last season they made it to the final, and then they lost to Cruz Azul. They have good players. They have a young team as well. I'm gonna put them to make the Liga. They could actually battle for the title. I'm gonna put them make Liga because that I know is a certainty. As for Pachuca, last season they surprised everybody because I think the first 6 or 7 games they were bad. There were calls to sack their manager, but then they just went on this crazy run. They beat Chivas in the repechaje, then they beat America in the Liga, and then they lost to Cruz Azul in the semifinals. So unfortunate for them. I think I might like change stuff around. I'm gonna put them for Battle Repechaje for now, and we'll see what happens later in the video. As for Leon, last season they finished 6th, but then they lost to Toluca and the Liga. They've made some good signings. They signed Santi Ormeño from Puebla. They did lose Joel Campbell to Monterrey. So I will actually, they're also one that's like, they could fight for the title, but I'll put them make Liga for now. We'll see what happens later. As for Monterrey, they've been going ham this offseason. I'll put them fight for the title because they need to. They signed this goalkeeper from South America who will be their starter. They also signed they signed Aguirre from Pachuca, who he was rumored to go Chivas, but I'm like, we ain't gonna sign anybody. So he went to Monterrey instead. They signed Joel Campbell from Leon. They got Hector Moreno, who's been Mexico's probably best defender for the past decade. They also got this other player, I think it's Colombian. I don't really know much about it because I don't watch South America football. But yeah, they've made a bunch of signings, and they should be one of the favorites for the title. So that's where I'm going to put them, obviously, because they're Regio, they have a ton of money. As for Tigres, they've also made some signings. In the offseason, they signed Juan Pablo Vigon from Pumas, their probably best defender. So they signed Pumas' best striker. And then the season after, they signed their best defender. So they're really screwing Pumas over. They also signed Florian Thauvin from Marseille in France. Now, André Pierre Gignac is their best signing probably, and he's French. And then they tried to sign another Frenchman, Andy Delors, did not work out. And then America tried to sign a Frenchman, Yuri Menes, and I think he was more failed than a success. So we'll see how well Florian Jovan does. I think he still has some good years left in his tank. So excited to see how he does. Obviously, Tuca Ferretti has now left Tigres. They got Piojo Herrera, and that should be interesting. So high expectations for Tigres. They've probably been the best team of the last decade. But for now, I'm gonna put them to make the Liga because last season they weren't the hottest. They finished 10th, and then they lost to Atlas in the repechaje. As for Cruz Azul, last season's campeones. For the first time in my lifetime, they won the league, the Liga MX, and they were by far the best team. they were they were insane. They lost like the first two games, and then they went on this unbeaten streak the rest of the way. They beat Chivas, yeah, and then they beat Santos in the final, and they finally got the title. And they should be favorites yet again. They kept their key players. They have Jonathan Rodriguez still up top. They have Jesus Corona in the back. Their defense is still the same. Luis Romo in the midfield. Although there is links to him to go to Getafe, which is where Macias went to. But I'm going to put them fight for the title because that's probably what's going to happen. As for our next person, America. So they're Chivas' biggest rivals, America. They have Santi Solari as their manager. His first season, they did pretty well in the regular season. They finished second, only behind Cruz Azul. But unfortunately, in the Liga, they lost to Pachuca. And they still have Ochoa in the back. They have going forward Fidalgo, Martin, and in the midfield they still have Cordova there as well as Pedro Aquino. I hate this because I'm gonna put them to fight for the title just because it's Club America. They should be fighting for the title every season. And with the players they got, the manager, fucking hate to say this, but they're gonna fight for the title. And then I saved the best for last. Chivas de Guadalajara. We've made no signings because we have a terrible board. Ricardo Balayas, Amari Vergara are. I don't know what they're doing. I did watch the documentary. Very insightful. The freaking last time we made any signings, 2020, and not a lot of them worked out. Also, Jose JJ Macias is on loan at Getafe in Spain, so we're losing our main number 9, and we're not really replacing him. We're gonna put, I think how we're gonna line up when we start, we're gonna have Chelo Saliva up top, and then we'll probably have like, well, it's because like Alexis Vega, Canelo, Angulo, Antuna, and Nene are gonna be out for the Olympics for like the first few weeks. So we might have like Chicote and Carlos Cisneros up top. So we're going back to 2016 with the Cisneros Saliva partnership. Last season we finished 9th, and then we lost to Pachuca embarrassingly, and we've made no new signings at all. We've lost some players. It's depressing stuff. I'm gonna put us battle repechaje. But yeah, I think I'll put us there. So obviously fighting for the title, I've got Monterrey, Cruz Azul, and America. Now, I kind of want to put like one of these teams, Santos, Leon, or Tigres. And because like Tigres and Leon both have new managers, and Santos made it to the final, I'll put them to go up there to fight for the title. So those will probably be the top 4, not necessarily in that order. But yeah, whatever. Order doesn't matter. As to make the Liga, so like the repechaje will probably be like all these teams: Leon, Tigres, Toluca, Puebla, Pumas, Atlas, Pachuca, and Chivas. And then I guess I'll put Leon Tigres to advance through. And I've got to pick 2 more teams. I'll put Pachuca, and I want to put Chivas, but got no faith. So I'll put Toluca. And then the teams that are going to lose the repechaje, Puebla, Pumas, Atlas, and Chivas. And then missed the mark, Mazatlan, Juarez, Necaxa, Tijuana, and got no chance, San Luis, and Querétaro. So before I go, I want to thank this dude, Carlos Castellan, because apparently he made this Liga MX tier list, and I just like edited those stuff. So those are my thoughts on the Liga MX season. Let me know what you think. Will Chivas actually make the Liga? I don't think so. One more thing, let me put just San Luis bottom. Just because. And Chivas will put us on top of Belo Pechaje. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Chivas win the league. Hopefully America come dead last. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this tier list video, I guess. See you guys next time. Peace.